Hi, it's Louise at Spiral Bright Insight. It's the 2nd of February and I wanted to come on with a very quick check-in in terms of what's happening in the chart and also how the energy is feeling today, or really over the past few days. Now we are working with the 2-2 energy today, second day of the second month in the year. And many describe this as the 2-2 portal. Obviously we're going to have the 22 sort of energy coming through later on in this month, but really the 2 is very much about cooperation, collaboration, coming together. It's a very sort of soft, gentle, feminine, nurturing energy that we are working with today. And whenever we have the combination of the same number, repeating number, the energy is effectively enhanced. So, this is very much about harmony. It's really emphasizing our intuition, more sensitivity, more balance, cooperation, loving the self, loving everybody else. This is a real sort of unity energy. And what's really interesting that as we work with that energy today, and actually it's going to be throughout the month, although February is an 11 month altogether because we add the numbers in the year to the month to create the 11. So, this is very much about enlightenment and activations and channeling and inspiration and spirituality. Ultimately, the 2 is also there weaving through this energy of love, of compassion, of coming together, and of feeling much more intuitive and sensitive overall. Now, in terms of the chart, we have got a triple conjunction happening today. So we have the North Node, we have Venus, and we have Neptune all meeting at 28 degrees of Pisces. Now, I just want to interject here and say that the last video I shared a couple of days ago, I was slightly misleading, not intentionally, of course, but I got a little bit confused. The sun was on my Venus, so I wasn't having a Venus return, although quite frankly it felt like that. The sun was literally lighting up that part of my chart, giving me this huge boost and, quite frankly, blinding me in some respects because it was, sorry if I created confusion, because I know I did. A lot of people said, oh, what's going on? Venus is in Pisces. And of course, Venus is in Pisces. But what happened, and normally if I make a mistake, it's not obviously that common because I'm very much Virgo rising and Saturn in Gemini. I'm very, very particular on the facts and getting things right. But I got a really strong guidance just to leave it up. So I had to trust that because obviously the video wasn't completely about Venus return and Venus in Aquarius, I had to trust that what I had shared, there were messages in there that were important, and that people who hadn't seen it yet still needed to. So that was kind of having to let go, trust in the bigger picture, kind of, almost surrender and let go of having to be right and having to be perfect, which, as I reflected on it, sort of in the aftermath, and, thank you for everybody who commented, I just thought, yeah, of course, we've got this really strong Pisces energy, and Venus, very much in Pisces, now next to the North Node and to Neptune. This is a time over the weekend, over today into tomorrow, when we are feeling really dreamy, really sort of, everything is going to feel quite otherworldly. It's almost as if time and what we've known and what we've relied on is really starting to dissolve and to melt and to almost disappear, with mutable water, especially in the final degrees of the entire zodiac. This is, we're stepping into almost no man's land. We have not been here before, and it is going to feel really quite destabilizing, really uncertain, very confusing. And, as we're working also with the oppositional energy of Virgo, but Virgo in opposition to this conjunction today and yesterday and tomorrow is really saying it's time to just let go of having to be right all the time. It's time to let go of that sort of fanatical need to be perfect, to have everything in order, to know exactly what is going on, to have all those structure and those plans in place, because this energy is simply not allowing that. And, for many of us, especially those with strong Virgo in the chart, this is going to feel really quite uncomfortable, because we are being pushed out of what we have known and what we've clung to in order to really embrace something new. And obviously with Pisces, you can't always see what it is, because Pisces is other realms, it is the unseen, it is, the beyond, the void, the big expanse. So this is really very, very beautiful, very ethereal, very dreamy, creative, mystical, deep sensitivity coming through. Intuition and psychic gifts are literally being stepped up. This is where we almost have to meet our higher self at an equal level, where we are stepping into much more of our soul expression rather than the physical. But also, because it's an opposition with the Virgo, we have to keep ourselves grounded at the same time. So there's a real sort of merging, but it is about trusting the higher power and trusting that if things are happening, whatever it is in your kind of experience in your world, what's going on for you right now, that it is part of a higher plan, even if it's confusing, even if it's painful, even if it means you're having to sacrifice things and let go. This is part of the energy. And yes, we are going to feel quite confused, quite overwhelmed for sure, because the lines are blurred. It's hard to know what's real and what's not. But it is part of the process. And obviously, with Pisces, with all this kind of collection, North Node is really pushing us to embrace that, because this is part of our soul growth. Venus there, wants us to really see the value of it and, help it really through it. We're encouraged to feel better, to feel more love, for ourselves, more love for each other, much more unity and unified consciousness. And obviously with Neptune, this is about our dreams and having that vision. And 28 degrees of Pisces is still very close to Shet in the Pegasus constellation. So, this is a star that really linked to Pegasus, the winged horse, the pathfinder, the way shower, lifting us up out of our 3D, sort of solidified, where we know exactly what's going on, into that much more multi-dimensional sort of experience. And Pegasus is very much about breaking the chains that have bound us. And because we're kind of with Neptune here and Venus, this is about breaking the illusion. I talked about this in the new moon video where I was talking about the Aquarian new moon, but it just feels so strong. So much is happening to really almost awaken us up from the spell, from the illusions where we may have been trapped, or unwittingly, unknowingly, possibly. So, this is all about rising up, being able to fly, see the bigger picture, understand, that sometimes things are painful, loss is painful, where we have to sacrifice things, it is painful and it's hard to let go, because, we are designed to be and have attachment to things, especially in the tangible, real material world. But, this is a time where we just have to make that step and step into the unknown. And, this is how it's feeling. Now, sort of at a physical level or mental, emotional level, I want to just share that I have been feeling, well, not quite myself over the past few days. I've been feeling, and it's been hard to kind of put my finger on it and really explain what or how I felt. I've just felt like in my body, in my head, in my heart, I haven't had clarity. It feels like everything's a bit cloudy and confused, and I haven't felt unwell, but I haven't felt great either. It's been like I say, it's hard to explain and describe, but as I was sort of tuning in before I've come on to do this video, I think, well, of course, strong Pisces energy, you are going to feel confused and blurry and cloudy, and and that is going to, that's what's happening out there. So this is potentially what then happens within the body, within the physical experience, because we are mirroring constantly everything that is kind of going on. So, what is the good news is that although Neptune and the North Node are going to continue to be in the final degrees of Pisces for a little while yet, Venus is obviously moving a lot quicker. So she is going to move into Aries on the 4th of February, the same day that Jupiter stations direct in Gemini. So we are going to have quite a strong shift in this coming week. Prior to that, though, kind of over the 3rd and the 4th, we have Angel's Gate. Now, this is when the sun gets to 15 degrees of Aquarius, and we have 4 of these gates, avatar gates or portals in the year, and they mark the midpoints between the solstice and the equinox. So 15 degrees of Aquarius is what we call Angel's Gate. And again, this is just really enhancing that beautiful energy of enlightenment, connection to higher self, much more angelic realms, you know, obviously with the background of the February universal 11 month as well. I just feel like we are so open at this time to higher inspiration, higher wisdom, messages from our higher selves, from our loved ones, from, you know, other beings beyond the realms. It's like we are, you know, we have the potential here to really tap into something really magical. And you know, while the chaos and everything continues, and, you know, that's not something that we can switch off, because again, that is part of the process. It just feels like this beautiful, loving energy, almost helping us to lift us up, to support us and to hold us in this space of, you know, beauty, mysticism, as I say, you know, of compassion, you know, that is really going to, I don't know, help us just through these few days or weeks or however long it takes to really make sure that we are held and that we can connect to a higher vision, you know, and the knowledge that this is part of the process and that we are guided. Obviously, with Pegasus and shit, you know, this is about being able to see beyond what is happening, to see beyond the horizon, and to know and have faith and to trust that something better is coming, and that often sacrifice and pain is part of the process that we have to move through. And it is, you know, as humans, as souls in human incarnation, you know, we did agree to this, you know, this was part of the plan, even though we have forgotten. So, you know, I just feel it's really beautiful energy to be working through. And then, as I said, on the 4th of February, you know, Venus is going to move into Aries. So things are going to hopefully start to feel a little bit clearer. We're still going to have the Pisces energy. We've still got Uranus, you know, all the other stuff that's going on. But there may start to feel like a bit more, something's starting to happen now. You know, I'm feeling more fired up. And with Jupiter stationing direct as well on the same day, that feels really fated. Obviously, everything is designed, but Jupiter going direct, we're going to feel more clarity as well in our understanding, in our minds. And it feels as if there might be a bubble that bursts on or around the 4th of February. You know, we start to see something much more clearly, and Jupiter at 11 degrees is still conjunct Aldebaran, which is Archangel Michael, you know, the royal star. And for me, I just keep seeing this image of Archangel Michael and his sword of truth cutting through the confusion. Literally, you know, all those chains, all those ties that have kept us hidden, or not hidden, locked in the state of confusion or illusion. It's like it gets cut off, and it's like, oh, you know, things start to happen and we start to wake up. So it feels like, you know, this is an ongoing process, but the 4th of February may be significant in some way. But certainly Jupiter, you know, now direct in the air sign, Aries moving into the fire sign. She is moving through that 1st degree of the zodiac, where Saturn and Neptune are both going to sort of pass at some point or later on in the year. So this is very much about new beginnings, a new sense of value, new sense of action, desire, drive, and connection as well. So yeah, we've got a really interesting, powerful week. Well, it seems to be, you know, kind of, yeah, the norm, the standard at the moment. But I hope that what I have sort of shared has been useful. And thank you for bearing with me in terms of the content of my last video. I am really grateful that, you know, people were able to understand that perhaps, you know, we don't always get things right. But as I said, I feel it was part of the transit and it was meant to happen for whatever reason. So yeah, sometimes you have to trust and surrender and let go of that kind of needing to be perfect. And perhaps that was a lesson, certainly for me, but perhaps for someone else who's watching this as well. So sending lots of love, and yeah, let's go. I mean, February's here, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.